Have you ever heard the phrase, "It's a good thing that's extinct"? Well, strap in, because these 6 nightmare beasts from our planet's past prove just how lucky we are they're gone. We're talking colossal predators and monstrous herbivores that would have turned modern ecosystems and us into their next meal. From a snake longer than a school bus to a bear taller than most door frames, each of these creatures would have rewritten the rules of survival. Ready to meet the 6 animals you'll be glad are extinct? Let's dive in. It all begins deep in the swamps of the Paleocene, roughly 60 million years ago, when the biggest predators on Earth weren't big cats or crocodiles, but a snake. Titanoboa was the undisputed champion of slithering terror, stretching up to 47 feet long and tipping the scales at over 2,500 pounds. That's longer than many school buses and heavier than the average SUV. Imagine drifting down a prehistoric river, when suddenly this living python wraps itself around your canoe, squeezing tighter with every heartbeat. Fossils pulled from a Colombian coal mine in the early 2000s stunned scientists. Vertebrae so massive they were first thought to be crocodile bones. But once they realized they'd unearthed the largest snake in history, the nightmares began. Recent paleoclimate studies suggest Titanoboa thrived in even warmer waters than previously believed, making modern tropical rivers, like the Amazon or Congo, prime real estate for its hypothetical resurgence. And if it could swallow a massive turtle or even a young crocodilian whole, you'd definitely be on the menu. As one researcher quipped after wrestling a 20-foot anaconda for a TV special, "You think that's scary?" Titanoboa would have made that look like a garden hose. But that wasn't the whole story. Next, let's leap to Australia about 50,000 years ago, where humans and megafauna walked the same red dirt. Megalania was a cold-blooded juggernaut, twice the length of today's Komodo dragons, topping out at around 20 feet and weighing up to a ton. If you thought a Komodo bite was nasty, imagine venom-laced saliva coursing through your veins, triggering internal bleeding as you fled. Early Aboriginal hunters may have traded stories of this ground crocodile, but modern science only recently reignited debate over whether it truly wielded venom or relied on sheer ambush power. A 2021 genetic analysis uncovered genes linked to toxin production, hinting this beast could have delivered a cocktail lethal enough to drop a kangaroo in seconds. Picture hiking through eucalyptus forest when a 1,000-pound reptile launches from ambush, claws raking, venom seeping, and then tracking you with unerring precision. Australia's outback would have become a no-go zone, requiring armored suits and drones just to venture outside. But thankfully, climate shifts and human pressures sealed Megalania's fate. Yet every time you see a Komodo dragon glide past a tourist at the zoo, remember, that's the mini-boss version of Australia's true monster, and the saga only escalates. Flip the globe to South America, 5 million years ago, and you'd find terror on 2 legs. The so-called terror birds, giant flightless hunters of the Forus Racidae family, towered over 10 feet tall, whipping across pampas grasslands at speeds rivaling a racehorse. With a hooked beak powerful enough to pierce bone and talons made for gripping, these feathered missiles framed every creature, from capybaras to early humans, as nothing more than moving buffet items. Recent Argentine digs revealed deeper throat cavities, suggesting their calls echoed like war horns across the plains, announcing each hunt. Jogging trails, nature reserves, even backyards would have been off-limits. One wrong turn into tall grass and you'd be greeted by a shriek, a kicking beak, and a rapid takedown you wouldn't walk away from. Yet as the ice ages brought cooler, drier climates and competition from mammals increased, this clan of wingless assassins vanished, an evolutionary dead end. But when you hear a pigeon's coo today, Imagine the thunderous footfalls of its ominous ancestor and shudder at the close call humanity just dodged. North America's savanna and woodlands hosted a predator equally fearsome. Smilodon, commonly dubbed the saber-toothed tiger, but closer in kinship to today's clouded leopard. Sporting serrated canines over 7 inches long, curved like scythes, Smilodon was a master of precision killing. Rather than chase prey to exhaustion, it ambushed in packs, clamping down on the throats or spines, feeling the exact moment its fangs pierced deeply enough thanks to extra-large nerve passages in its skull. A 2022 study of tooth wear patterns shattered earlier ideas that Smilodon was a cautious hunter. Instead, it stripped carcasses to the bone, scavenging and hunting with equal ferocity. Megafauna like mammoths and ground sloths learned to fear the ambush. But early humans discovered that even fire and spears were no match for a coordinated saber-tooth attack. Cities today might survive, but our idea of a safe wilderness hike would be completely rewritten. Suddenly, every rustle in the underbrush would be your last. Yet as the last ice age waned, prey dwindled, and early human hunting grew more effective, Smilodon's reign ended, and we inherited a world free of those curved, lethal blades. Perhaps the most bewildering of all is Phoberomys pattersoni, affectionately dubbed Ratzilla. This gargantuan rodent roamed Venezuela's river deltas about 8 million years ago, weighing up to 550 pounds and stretching 15 feet from snout to tail tip. Equipped with foot-long incisors, it could chomp through woody vegetation like it was butter. Though herbivorous, imagine stumbling on a herd of these semi-aquatic behemoths, each as hefty as a water buffalo, crushing undergrowth and blocking waterways. Early estimates pegged its weight at 1,600 pounds before 2019 revisions. But even at its leanest, Ratzilla was an ecological force of nature. Its bulky teeth and grinding molars allowed it to harvest massive swaths of riverbank plants, reshaping habitats in its wake. Modern wetlands might resemble traffic jams of these lumbering giants, uprooting trees and reshaping coastlines. Hikers and campers would need permits just to navigate their grazing grounds. But as environments shifted and grasslands replaced river forests, this oversized rodent vanished, and with it went the looming threat of an herbivore that could have bulldozed entire ecosystems. Finally, towering over them all was Arctodus simus, the short-faced bear. At up to 11 feet tall on its hind legs and weighing in at 1,500 pounds, this Ice Age colossus needed 35 pounds of meat daily. Long legs meant it could cover vast territories in search of carrion or live prey, bullying other predators away from kills or digging deep for roots when hunger struck. Genomic analyses link Arctodus most closely to today's spectacled bear, but don't let the resemblance fool you. Short-faced bears were apex scavenger hunters, gnawing bones like chew toys and preying on everything from caribou to young mammoths. Imagine a casual mountain hike disrupted by a dozen of these giants, lumbering out of a valley, each the size of a small car. You'd be lucky to sprint halfway down the trail before exhaustion, and a charging bear ended the race. Yet as climates warmed and human hunters spread, their prey dwindled and habitat shrank, sealing Arctodus's extinction. Today, grizzlies win our hearts. Once, short-faced bears won survival. Looking back on these 6 extinct titans, Titanoboa, Megalania, the terror birds, Smilodon, Phoberomys, and Arctodus, it's clear our planet once teemed with predators and behemoths, far beyond today's imagination. Each extinction reshaped ecosystems, ultimately paving the way for modern biodiversity and for our own species to thrive. So the next time you watch wildlife documentaries or stroll through a zoo, remember the giant snake that could choke a bus, the lizard that injected lethal venom, The bird that sprinted like a missile, the saber-tooth designed for instant kill. The rodent you wouldn't outrun, and the bear that towered over you. We dodged a perilous episode in Earth's history, one that could have left humanity and countless other species petrified. Which beast would you be most relieved to know is gone? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next deep dive into creatures frozen in ice. You won't believe what's still out there. Take care and stay curious.